Mindy Cabrera says, dietary nutritional advice for breast cancer prevention, macronutrient ratios, micronutrient intakes, etc. Also, any thoughts on risks and benefits of HRT in perimenopause relative to breast cancer risk? My mother died of metastatic lobular breast cancer, but she used Premarin. According to 23andMe, I have the gene associated with lower levels of SHBG. So did she. So I think I need to be more cautious with exogenous estrogen. Any thoughts, Carrie?
Would you read, what was the first part again?
First part is macronutrient ratios and micronutrient intakes for breast cancer prevention.
Well, that's probably better for you when it comes to like nutrient ratios and stuff. But I will say, working for an estrogen lab where we're looking at phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification, and what we're trying to assess with estrogen. So when men and women, we make estrogen, and then we detox our estrogen, right? And so we go through phase 1 detoxification, and then that becomes it becomes a reactive oxygen species essentially, and then we quickly neutralize it. Our body has these systems in place to protect us. But if one of your pathways for phase 1 does not get neutralized, then it turns tail and it goes down what I call the naughty pathway. Technically, it's called the quinone pathway, which starts with a Q. And so and then that pathway continues on. It can lead to DNA damage. There are these things that are created.
Wait, so the naughty pathway is the bad one?
It is, yeah. Imagine that. Quinone with a Q. And so they form adducts. And adducts, ADDUCT, adducts, when they're unstable, they bind to the DNA and then break off. And so now your DNA goes, oh my gosh, there's holes in my DNA. I have to repair them. The more holes you have, the more higher chance you get for mutation. Now, estrogen is not the only thing that can do this. Environmental toxicants, polyaromatic hydrocarbons, other things can form adducts that cause holes in the DNA. So from a nutritional standpoint, when we're looking at before and after testing, this is when we get into things like your brassica family, your broccoli, your kale, your cauliflower. This is when we get into things like your broccoli sprouts, because those broccoli sprouts, when you chew them or if you cut them up and let them sit on your cutting board for a couple minutes, you activate 2 ingredients to become something called sulforaphane. And sulforaphane is really important and helpful at stopping your estrogen from going down the naughty quinone pathway and pushing it back to the beginning again. Plus, it also helps support your phase 2 detoxification and upregulates that. Some other super helpful things besides that are foods high in resveratrol, your flavonoids.
Is the phase 2 for that one methylation?
Yes. Yep. So phase 2, COMT, COMT is your big one there.
So folate and B12 and
actually the 2 big cofactors are SAMe and magnesium for COMT, but obviously B12, folate are helpful for the whole cycle.
Yeah, maintaining your SAMe levels is going to be driven by the methyl donors, and so
for sure. For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Folate, choline.
But as you know, I'm sure as you get this, is everyone goes, oh, methylation, it's MTHFR. I have that. I'm like, well, it's much bigger. It's a little bit bigger than that when it comes to estrogen and everything, but your COMT creation and then what it does for estrogen. And so when it comes to breast cancer, I'm trying to get women to go get off the quinone pathway or repair the quinone pathway, have proper phase 1, proper phase 2, and then phase 3 is through the intestines. So now I'm looking at, microbiome support, making sure she's not constipated, making sure, she's got fiber and prebiotics and probiotics, and just to get the estrogen from start to finish. And so it doesn't recirculate and increase in that regard. And that's just focusing on estrogen. That obviously there's a whole lot when it comes to antioxidant support and everything else.
Yeah, there's some data that vitamin D and calcium lower the risk of estrogen responsive breast cancer, but only up to the point of levels that would help your bone health. So basically you don't want to be deficient in those nutrients, but megadosing them is not going to be relevant. Yeah. So, but I think that given the relevance of CMMT, I would direct people to the methylation page that I have at chrismasterjohnphd.com/methylation. Maintaining your SAMe levels is going to be dependent on the methyl donors, folate, B12, choline, but also magnesium and ATP. So in theory, you could have low ATP levels compromising that would be that could be related to low energy intake, or could be related to taking something that lowers ATP like berberine or metformin, or could be related to metabolic problems from insulin or thyroid. And the Dutch test tells you how much you're methylating that, right?
It does for estrogen. Yeah. Estrogen is the one thing we look at for methylation. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then for the second part of her question, I have been actually referring people to Dr. Peter Attia, which I know you've been on his podcast. He did a different podcast with Avram Blooming and Carol. This is embarrassing. I even have their book. But it's a great one on HRT, and they have a book out, Estrogen Matters, and I just got mine from Amazon yesterday. So if you are concerned about for the pros and cons of HRT, especially in reference to breast cancer, I would highly recommend watching or listening.
Avram Blooming and Carol Tavris.
That's what it is. Thank you. But read the book, Estrogen Matters. Listen to the podcast. It's really helpful. They present the data in a very easy to understand way. You don't have to be a practitioner.
Did your viewpoint on estrogen change from reading that book?
Not because of them. I was never against estrogen. I was always one of the doctors trying to say that estrogen should not be vilified. It's it's Goldilocks.
It's very vilified in a lot of the alternative health.
Oh my gosh. Just look on social media. There are entire pages dedicated to, getting rid of estrogen, blocking estrogen. And I can understand if you have severe endometriosis, if if like the estrogen has sort of wrecked your life, I understand that. But what I have been wanting to do is but we need it, ladies. We need it. It is important for our brain health, critical to our brain health. It can help prevent Alzheimer's and dementia. It's critical to our bone development. It's critical for our skin. It's critical for our immune system. And if we just do everything in our power to suppress it, the trade-off is but maybe we have dementia and Alzheimer's, so we don't know, we don't care, but I care. So I want healthy bones and healthy brain and healthy immune system and all these things. So I've always been an advocate for estrogen. And there was a compounding pharmacy a couple years ago where they were presenting some of the data about estrogen and how it's been vilified. And I was so excited. And then when I heard Peter's podcast with them, I was even more excited. And I have not read the book. I've just heard the podcast.
Yeah, I haven't. I've only
got it yesterday. So it's sitting right next to my bed. Cool. Ready to read. Did it change yours? Did it change your thoughts on estrogen?
I also didn't read the book. I listened to the podcast. I don't know. I've been exposed to a lot of anti-estrogen stuff too. My view on estrogen was evolving earlier than I heard that podcast over the last year, actually, because I'm reading the book, The Female Brain, which is actually kind of oldish book, but it comes across as estrogen comes across as very important for mood and things like that in that book, and so that was part of it.